Dear students, we have started with Unit 8, Chapter 10, Microbes in Human Welfare. In my last videos, we have completed the microbes that were going to be used in the household products. That is, we have seen how these microorganisms are playing an important role in the simple life activities in our houses, like from the making of the curd to the idli and dosa batters, the microorganisms are playing an important role. Apart from that, we have seen the microbes that have been used in industrial products. In the industrial products, we have seen the microbes playing their role in the fermented beverages, in the production of antibiotics, and in the production of the chemicals, enzymes, and other bioactive molecules. So, this is what we have completed in this chapter until now. Today, we are going to be starting with the next part, that is microbes in sewage treatment. Before starting the microbes in sewage treatment, first let us know what is this sewage. Now, what is happening? We know that large quantities of wastewater are generated every day in cities and towns, from my house and from your house. Every day, a lot of water is going into the gutters, and a major component of this wastewater is nothing but the human excreta that is going out of our bathrooms, you can say. So whatever the fecal matter, the human excreta is going in the gutters, and that is going to be forming a large amount of waste water known as the municipal wastewater, also called as the sewage. So, if you are talking in general, sewage is nothing but your gutter water, you call it as the sewage. It is going to be consisting of lot of the pathogenic microorganisms. Now, what do you mean by pathogenic? Pathogenic is nothing but the disease causing organisms this sewage is going to be containing. So, have you ever thought if this huge quantity of sewage or the urban waste is going to be where this gutter water is every day going? Every day it is going to be produced in large amount, and every day where is this gutter water going? Have you ever thought of it? So this cannot be, this water that is going to go out of the gutters, this you cannot directly put it into the water bodies. You may say all the gutter water is going into the sea and from the into the river, and from the river into the sea. But this sewage water cannot be directly discharged into the natural water bodies like the rivers and the streams. Why? Because I just now told you it is having lot of disease causing pathogenic microorganisms, and rivers and streams are going to be a source of our drinking water. We are drinking water from the rivers and the streams only. Just imagine you are putting your gutter water into the river and again you are drinking that river water only. So how safe will it be? So it is very important that before the disposal of this sewage water into the natural water bodies like the rivers and the streams, we have to treat this sewage. We have to somehow make it less infective, or we have to make it less pathogenic. We have to make it less polluting. So this treatment of wastewater is done by the heterotrophic microbes naturally present in the sewage. So we don't need to do anything more in that. We are not using any chemicals and all that, but the microbes that are already present in the sewage, they are only going to be degrading the sewage, or they are making the sewage become less in quantity. Those are the heterotrophic microbes, we are calling it. But we have to have some patience. We have to give the time to bacteria, so that before letting it into the river bodies, we have to give time to the microbes so that they treat the sewage. So we are studying today how we can make the water less polluted before letting it out into the water bodies. So we are going to be studying today microbes in the sewage treatment. Herein we can see that sewage is going to be containing large amount of organic matter and microbes. Organic matter is nothing but the fecal matter or the human excreta. It is having a large quantity of the organic matter. So this sewage is going to be treated by sewage treatment plant so that we can make it less polluting. And this sewage treatment plant that is going to be there is going to be including 2 stages. Which are those 2 stages? The first stage is going to be the primary treatment, and the second, the secondary treatment, or also called as the biological treatment. Let us see one by one each one of these. Here, the primary treatment. In the primary treatment, what we are doing is simply we are doing the physical removal of the particles. And how this physical removal of the particles is there? Do it, or it is going to be done. It is done by simple things like the filtration and floating. So what we are going to be doing is removal of floating debris by sequential filtration. Here you can see in the diagram at your left hand side, they have added the filters over here. Filters are nothing but sieve किंवा जाळणी जे आपण म्हणतो. So they are adding the sieve so that whatever the floating larger particles are there, for example it may be the plastic or it may be the paper or cloth. So these types of the floating materials that are going to be there, they are going to be separated from the sewage so that only the sewage is going to be coming into a chamber after sequential filtration. Then they are doing the removal of the grit. So what is this removal of the grit? Grit is nothing but soil and small pebbles that are going to be there. So once the filtration is going to be done, next they are putting it into the chamber wherein whatever heavy things are there in the sewage, the mud or the small pebbles are nothing but small stones. Whatever these type of small pebbles or soil is there, they are heavy. So of course what will happen? They will settle down. And only the top layer is going to be let out into the next tank. So that is going to be by sedimentation. Sedimentation, sediment means to settle down. By settling, we are going to be settling it. So now the settled solids from the primary sludge and the supernatant forms the primary effluent. So whatever is here, it is going to be settling down. Here whatever is settling down, this is going to be called as the sludge, primary sludge, which is heavy, muddy, chikkal sarka aste. So that is going to be called as the primary sludge. And supernatant is going to be nothing but whatever is going to be present on the top, the water that is present on the top, that will be called as the supernatant. So now this supernatant is going to be called as the primary effluent. Now the primary effluent is going to be carried to the next step. So what to do of this primary sludge then? This primary sludge can be added to the fields, agricultural fields, because this will be rich in nutrients. Now comes the next step, that is going to be the secondary treatment or the biological treatment. So in the secondary treatment or the biological treatment, what they are doing is they are taking the primary effluent. So what is the primary effluent here? That what we got here, this is the primary effluent, the top part, the supernatant part. The primary effluent is taken in the secondary or the biological treatment. So this primary effluent is then passed into large aeration tube and constantly agitated. What is an aeration tank? Sorry, not tube, tank. What is an aeration tank? This here you can see, this is going to be an aeration tank. Aeration tank is wherein you are circulating the air in the primary effluent. Because for the degradation of the sewage, the microorganisms will require oxygen. If you keep the water stagnant or standing, the oxygen supply it will not get. So they are going to be agitating it, means mixing it, like apan tak kaso karto. So in that manner, they are continuously agitating it, or they are going to be rotating it using the rotors you can see over here, so that the proper circulation of air is going to be there in the tank. Now, once this is going to be done, then this allows rigorous growth of useful anaerobes, that is going to be called. So, because you are going to be doing continuous agitation, what will happen? The microorganisms which we require, the aerobic microbes they are called. Aerobic means nothing but which are going to be using the oxygen. So, these aerobic microorganisms are going to be developed more, and these are going to be forming the flokes. Flokes are nothing but, here you can see, they are the mesh-like masses of bacteria and fungal filaments. So they are going to be forming a mesh. Mesh म्हणजे आणि जाळणी सारखं होत आहे. So they are going to be forming the mesh-like thing, and they are going to be nothing but bacteria associated with the fungal filaments to form mesh-like structures. Why this is happening? Due to continuous agitation in the aeration tank, these type of flocks are going to be formed. Now, these microbes consume the organic matter in the effluent. So what it is happening? Whatever these flokes have been formed, whatever these microorganisms that you have grown, this will start eating all the organic matter that is present in the effluent, and that is our major goal. We want to reduce the organic matter that is present in the effluent. And because of which this reduces the BOD, that is nothing but biochemical oxygen demand of the effluent. This is the reason why all this is taking place, the biochemical oxygen demand. Now what is this biochemical oxygen demand? Let us see. We all know that many organisms are going to be living in the water. The fishes are there, the crustaceans are there, many plants are there. They are living in water. They require water for their respiration. They require oxygen for their respiration. So when they are requiring the oxygen for their respiration, from where are they getting this oxygen? They are getting this oxygen from the water. So in water, the oxygen is going to be present in the dissolved form, also known as the dissolved oxygen. See, all the organisms living in water are going to be surviving depending on the dissolved oxygen. And this biochemical oxygen demand is going to be nothing but the amount of oxygen consumed by bacteria to oxidize all the organic matter in 1 liter of water. So, how much of oxygen is required? आता किती ऑक्सिजन लागते त्या बॅक्टेरियाला एक ऑर्गॅनिक मॅटरला डिकम्पोज करण्यासाठी? So that is how much amount of oxygen is going to be required for the bacteria, demanded by the bacteria, so that it is going to be oxidizing or dissolving the organic matter present in the water. That is going to be the biochemical oxygen demand. Again, important for 1 or 2 marks. They can ask you definition of biochemical oxygen demand. So it is the amount of oxygen consumed by bacteria to oxidize all the organic matter in 1 liter of water. It is a measure of organic matter present in the water. So by knowing the biochemical oxygen demand, we are able to know how much of organic matter is going to be present in that water. Because greater the biochemical oxygen demand, more is its polluting potential. We can know by titration the biochemical oxygen demand, that is BOD. If this BOD level is high, what does that tell? So that tells us that this water is more polluting, because this BOD test measures the rate of uptake of oxygen by microorganisms in a sample of water, and thus indirectly this biochemical oxygen demand is a measure of the organic matter present in the water. The greater the BOD of wastewater, more is its polluting potential. So that is going to be the biochemical oxygen demand. Whenever this biochemical oxygen demand is high, the dissolved oxygen becomes low, because microbes are only eating all the oxygen. Then what happens to the other organisms? They will not get the oxygen and they will get killed. So if you want that the dissolved oxygen has to be maintained, then the oxygen demand has to be less. And if you are going to be having more organic pollutant in the water, then the oxygen demand will be more. So we have to see that the organic matter has to be reduced so that the oxygen demand is reduced, so that the dissolved oxygen is increased and the organisms can happily live in water. And hence, if biochemical oxygen demand is more, water is polluted, we can say. Here, next step, once the biochemical oxygen demand we have finished, now what is happening? The froth is going to be done from the aeration tank. Next, what is done? Let us see. So the effluent that is going to be there is then passed into the settling tank. So now once the aeration is happening, the microorganisms have reacted. Next, what they will be doing? They will be putting it into the settling tank. From the aeration tank, it will go into the final settling tank. So in the final settling tank, where these bacterial flokes are sedimented, and this sediment is called the activated sludge. Now we have to separate out the bacteria that have formed the flokes. They have eaten the organic matter and they have formed the flokes over the tank. So we will allow it to stand into a settling tank, so that all those bacteria which have formed the flokes together with the fungal filaments are settling down. As a result, only the water with less pollution or with less organic matter will be present over the tank, and all the sludge that are going to be containing the microbes will settle down. As they are going to be having the live microbes, the living microbes, it is known as the activated sludge. Now, a small part of this activated sludge is going to be pumped back into the aeration tank to serve as an inoculum. म्हणजे आपण काय करतो? दही घालतो, सगळी दही खातो आणि थोडीशी एक चमचाभर दही परत दुधात घालतो, म्हणजे ते पण परत दही होण्यासाठी, म्हणून तो प्रकार आहे. So what we are doing, as we are using the curd to change milk into curd, so what we do, we eat all the curd but only one spoon we are keeping. So in that manner, all the activated sludge is removed out and it is put into the agricultural field. It is acting as a nutrient, but only little amount is kept as an inoculum, and again it is given into the aeration tank, so that the next lot of water is also forming the activated sludge. Now, next what is happening? Let us see. So now the remaining sludge that is there is pumped into large tank called anaerobic sludge digesters. So here whatever sludge was removed, this activated sludge, only little amount is taken. What happens to this remaining activated sludge? Let us see. So this remaining sludge that is going to be there is going to be pumped into large tank called the anaerobic sludge digesters. So these are going to be the sludge digesters, which are going to be somewhat similar to your gobar gas plant or the biogas plant, which are producing the methane. So these anaerobic sludge digesters, what they are doing? Here some anaerobic bacteria digest the bacteria and fungi in the sludge by producing the gases like the methane, hydrogen sulfide and carbon dioxide. And these gases are nothing but the biogas, and the effluent is going to be ready to live into natural water bodies like the rivers and the streams. So in this manner, nothing is going as a waste. Here, whatever effluent you are going to be getting, it is going to be let out into the water bodies. And here, whatever waste organic matter you are getting, the microorganisms you are getting, that again they are going to be doing the sludge digestion to produce the gases like methane, hydrogen sulfide and carbon dioxide, which is going to be used for the cooking and lighting in many households. It is energy producing, so it is going to be used for the cooking and the lighting, the methane gas. So in this manner, we can see that by a method known as the sewage treatment, we can make use of the sewage also. We are reducing the pollution, we are going to be reducing the waterborne diseases, and we are going to be protecting our environment, also deriving the benefit in the form of the biogas. Now, here there is going to be a flow chart I have just put to revision. So here what is done, the primary effluent is going to be put into the aeration tank. Here the constant agitation or mixing is taking place. Then here in this, the anaerobic bacteria are going to be forming the flocks which will consume the organic matter. Now, when this is happening, the BOD reduces, the water is now good for the putting it into the natural bodies. So, by this method, the effluent now is going to be sent into the natural water bodies, whereas whatever the flocks are going to be there, the remaining bacteria is going to be there. Some of them is going to be put back into the aeration tank for the next lot of the water, and remaining is going to be put into the anaerobic sludge digesters, wherein some of the anaerobic bacteria like the methanogenic bacteria are produces the biogas like the methane, hydrogen sulfide and carbon dioxide, which is going to be used for the cooking and lighting purpose. So that is going to be about the microbes in the sewage treatment plant. It requires some space, it requires lot of patience, but herein this is worth it, because if you want to preserve the pure water to drink, then it is necessary that you have to treat the water before you let out into the water bodies. And realizing the importance of the sewage treatment plants, the Ministry of Environment and the Forest, that is the Ministry of Environment and Forest, has initiated something known as the Ganga Action Plan and the Yamuna Action Plan to see or to save these major rivers of our country from pollution, because these have become the highly polluted rivers of the world, you can say nowadays. So that we are reducing the pollution in these rivers, this ministry has taken something known as Ganga Action Plan and Yamuna Action Plan. So under these plans, it is proposed to build a large number of sewage treatment plants, so that only the treated sewage may be discharged in the rivers. So, if you get a chance to visit a sewage treatment plant near you, then it will be worth it. You can actually see how it is done. So, this is about the microbes used in the sewage treatment, and this sewage treatment plants are helping in a large extent to save our environment and our natural water bodies. So this is all about the microbes in sewage treatment. In the next video, we will be studying about the microbes in the production of biogas, then microbes as biocontrol agents and microbes as biofertilizers.